In this video, I'd like to talk about hidden values. So hidden values are used to perform calculation, and as the name implies, they are hidden, so they don't automatically appear on the enumerator's mobile phone screen or tablet screen, but they do appear when we export our data. So what kind of calculations are we talking about? Think of using Excel functions. The functions available in CommCare are actually very similar. So for example, for the how many days per week is the facility open, we could, for example, calculate, well, what percentage of the time is the facility open? Another example is maybe we want to categorize or give a categorical score to the health facility based on the number of days that it's open. So for example, if it's open less than 5 days a week, that's unacceptable. If it's open 5 or 6 days a week, that's acceptable. And if it's open 7 days a week, that's perfect. So where do we find all of these functions that we can use for the hidden values? Well, if you type in CommCare Functions into Google, it's pretty much the first result that comes up. So if we have a look here, we see all the different functions available. Now, these are too many to go over, but just to give you an idea, here we have some direct values. For example, if I want to perform calculations using today's date or the current time, I can use the today or now functions. There's some formatting, so if I need to convert answers or responses, let's say I have a multiple choice question with a bunch of numbers, I can convert those to numbers, or you can convert numbers to strings. Then we have some standard like logic and math operators. So for example, if I want to sum the values, the responses of 2 or more questions, I can use the plus symbol, again minus symbol, times symbol, the divided function, if statements like we're used to in Excel. There's a possibility to generate random numbers. You can get the min or the max of a particular value. And then we have some string functions. Maybe we want to join a bunch of strings together for whatever reason. And then there's some multi-select helper functions. So we can count the number of responses selected. Okay, so let's just go back to our form editor. So we're going to add a hidden question or a hidden value. And we can see that here, marked by this X. And then these are a little bit different from our normal questions. So usually we have display text and question ID. Obviously the hidden values don't have a display text because they're, well, hidden. So instead we have a calculate condition and a question ID. So for the question ID, what are we going to calculate first? It's the percentage of days open. So let's just type that. Percentage of days, or we can type it out full, that the health facility is open. And then our calculate condition. So let's just open up the editor, which gives us a little bit more space. So what do we need to do to calculate this? Well, we need to divide the number of days that the facility is open by the total maximum number of days that the facility is open. Well, the maximum number of days that the facility is open is 7, right? And then the response with regards to the total number of days is given by this question. So we need to divide those two. And for divisions, there's a special function. So it's this div function. So if I click on it, it shows me, what is the behavior? Okay, a simple division between 2 values. Perfect, that's what we want. Returns the quotient of 2 values. It needs 2 numbers. And this is how you use it. So x div y. So 15 div 2 returns 7.5. So something divided by something. So what we want to do is we want to say, we want to divide this number, div, by 7. Okay, so that's going to give us a number between 0 and 1, but we want a full percentage. So I'm also going to say times 100. Great, and that's all you have to do. So now, let's say we want to display this number, this percentage that we just calculated, to the enumerator. How do we do that? Well, we do that using a label question. So we select label from add questions, and our display text is going to be the percentage of days that the health facility is open, and then we can simply just drag this hidden value into this display text, and then question ID, we just say show percentage. These question labels actually don't come up in our export, so it doesn't really matter how we name them. All right, great. So let's test that out. I'm going to save my form. Then I'll publish it once it's done saving. Make a new version. I'm going to star it, which means that I'm turning auto update on. That's fine because I know nobody else is working or using my form. I'm going to add a comment. Percentage score added. And then I'm going to go to my BlueStacks, update the application, and then I'll come back to you guys once I'm at the question. All right, so I filled out the questionnaire up until the last question of types of services. And then I get to access to health. The target population, so let's say 2,500. Do refugee and host population have access to the same or same quality health services? So if I press yes, it should skip the next question, correct? And if I say no, it should display the where does the host population access health service question. Great. Just enter something random. And this is the question that we're interested in, right? So let's start with 7 days a week. So the next question, the percentage of days that the health facility is open is 100. Great, it seems to work. Let's try something else. Let's try 3. Okay, great. So it's giving us the percentage again. Now there's something we can do here to make this total number smaller. We might want to round to just 2 digits after the decimal. And let's just try 0 to see if it doesn't give us any problems. No, looks fine. Okay, perfect. So let's submit the form, and then we'll make some small modifications before going ahead with another hidden value question. Finish. So in order to add the rounding functionality, let's go back to our survey. I'm just going to collapse all of this again. Open up access to health. Okay, so in this question, we basically want to just round this condition. So the way we do that, if we just open up the editor and we check out our functions, we see that there is a round function here, 3.30. I click it. Okay, so the behavior is it rounds a number to the nearest integer. The argument passed to the function is rounded to the nearest integer. That's fine. What are the arguments? The only argument it takes is the number you want to round. So the syntax, and this is the one we're looking for, is round, open parentheses, enter the number, and then close parentheses. So let's do that. So this entire number, I just want to round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cursor to before the question. I'm going to tab round, open parentheses, and close parentheses. And so this is going to give us a number to the nearest integer. If I want to the nearest, let's say 2 decimals, I can add 2 zeros here and then divide by 100. But let's just keep it simple, and let's just add to the nearest integer. So we get a whole percentage, which is probably enough for us. Okay, so I'm going to save and then publish again, and I'll see you guys in BlueStacks. Okay, so I'm back in BlueStacks. Let's try it out now. Let's say 6 days a week open. And now we have a nice rounded percentage. Same as 5. Again, a nice rounded percentage. Perfect. Okay, so let's try our hand at a slightly different hidden value. In this case, we're going to do the categorical scores according to the number of days that the health facility is open. So for this particular hidden value, we're going to need to use an if function. So if I go back up to the menu and we look for if, we see it here, number 3.7. Okay, so it can be used to test a condition and return one value if it is true and another if that condition is false. So let's have a look. Again, I'm just going to collapse everything, open up access to health. So we want another hidden value after this one. So I'm going to add a question, hidden value. The calculate condition will determine in a bit, and the question ID is going to be categorical score, health facility. Perfect. So what is our calculate condition? So what did we say? If it's a 7 days a week, 7 out of 7, we give it a perfect score. If it's 5 or 6, we'll give it an adequate score. And if it's below 5, so 0 to 4, it's unsatisfactory. So how do we do that? Let's just open up the editor and give the XPath expression. So why don't we say the simplest, our simplest score is if the answer to this question, how many days per week is the facility open, equals 7, then we want to return perfect. Right? So that's how this if function works. The syntax is if, so the condition to the test, so something equals something or something is less than something, then the value if true, comma, then the value is false. So 3 arguments. So that's what we did here. We first did our condition to test. So that's this. If this, the answer to this question is equal to 7, then the value if true. Well, if it's 7 out of 7, we want it to return perfect. If that's not the case, we want it to return either satisfactory or unsatisfactory. So how do we do that? We add another if statement within the first if statement. So this is called a nested if statement. So again, if, parentheses open. So the next logical step here would be, 7 out of 7 is perfect. And we also know that categorically, if it's less than 5, it is unsatisfactory. So that'll be our next one. So if the answer to, not show percentage, just delete that. How many days per week is the facility open? If the answer to that is less than 5, we want to return unsatisfactory. And now if we comma, the last argument is going to be, well, whatever is left. So in other words, if it's not equal to 7, and then if it's not less than 5, what is it then? Then it's satisfactory. So close parenthesis, and then I need to add another close parenthesis for this first if statement. So always remember that these statements are evaluated in chronological order. So first is going to evaluate, is it equal to 7? If it is, perfect. That's what we'll return. If it's not equal to 7, i.e. if it's 0 to 6, then it's going to evaluate, well, is it less than 5? If it is less than 5, then we automatically could say, well, it's unsatisfactory. so if it's not less than 5, but is not equal to 7, the only two options that are left are 5 and 6. So then we can automatically just say, well, let's make it satisfactory. So let's save this. And again, let's create a label so that we can show the result of this question. So let's first do our question ID. Our question ID is show categorical score. And our display text is the categorical score for this health facility is. Save it, publish it, and then test it out in BlueStacks. And again, I'll see you in BlueStacks. Okay, so back to our questionnaire in BlueStacks. Let's enter a number for the number of days per week that the facility is open. So let's say 3. Okay, that is still working. And then, great, yeah, we should see unsatisfactory. Remember, 0 to 5 is unsatisfactory, or 0 to 4 rather. And then 5 and 6 should be satisfactory, and 7 perfect. So let's try 5 now. Okay, and it looks like it's working. All right, quick check for 6. Yes, still working. And let's see what happens when we enter 7. All right, it seems like it's totally working. In the next video, we'll look at how to convert a table such as this one into questions in CommCare.